does anyone else want this for the armor?
No. So
No.
again, there are 3 classes in the game that would consider this, and it is Bard, Rogue, and Warlock, right? Everyone else either doesn't have light armor proficiency, so they're not using this outright, or doesn't, or has medium armor proficiency plus,
Right.
so they don't need this.
Right. Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the feat, Moderately Armored.
Why does this need to exist?
All right, well, there's got to be, we talked about, was it lightly armored a while back, and that just straight up doesn't need to exist. There's got to be more case uses for this one, right?
Right? So this is really simple. It's for the PHB, it's a feat. You have to have prerequisite proficiency with light armor, which means if you're a sorcerer and wizard, you can suck it. It says you've trained to master the use of medium armor and shields, gaining the following benefits. To master, I'll say. You've mastered this. Increase your strength and dex by 1 to a max of 20. Good place to start. And then you gain proficiency with medium armor and shields, which by definition is not what expertise is. Being an expert in something does not mean you're only proficient with it. It means you're better than proficient with it. So I think this feat lied to me. We can do a quick breakdown of what classes in the game will qualify for this, that can actually use it. So bards get light armor proficiency with no shields. Monks get light armor proficiency with no shields. Do they? No, monks don't get armor proficiency. Oh, I'm sorry. They are unarmored entirely. And even if you do get light armor, you still don't want to take this because you can't use martial arts with shields. So we have bards, and then we have rogues. Rogues get light armor proficiency, and they could use a shield. And then warlocks get light armor proficiency, and then they could use the shield. So, like, hypothetically, warlocks, bards, rogues are your options.
Whoa. Now, perhaps this is a justification for sorcerers and wizards to take lightly armored.
Ah, yes. What I really want to invest in as my sorcerer and wizard is 2 feats so I can hold a shield.
Yes.
I definitely need that and not just a 1 level in fighter. Absolutely.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Reasons for the other feat that doesn't need to exist, I guess. Sure.
Well,
why
also,
not?
Potential classes that could take this feat.
You don't ever want to sink that level into it. Maybe we're in a world where you're getting light armor proficiency from your species, like you're an elf or something, and they get light armor proficiency from something, and then all of a sudden you can take this, now you get a shield, and I'm still like, what are we doing? What option is this? How does this exist? Like, if you're going a Gish option, that subclass or hybrid martial class or multi-class build probably gives you those proficiencies from somewhere anyway. So, like, I'm not particularly excited for the prospect of specifically sorcerers and wizards and monks getting access to this, which are the 3 classes that don't have light armor proficiency. If we lead just to the 3 classes with light armor proficiency, we got bards, we got rogues, we got warlocks, right?
Yes.
Which of them want to invest a feat into this is where I think my big question is, because I think what light armor proficiency normally is as good as medium armor proficiency. You can get magical light armor, you can get a plus like 5 to your dex, and you're outpacing what the medium armor can give you because your dex modifier is so high. So like rogues that 1 in 20 dex, they don't want to cap their dexterity modifier on their by using medium armor. They don't want that. Right. So they'd have to want the shield proficiency to really justify this. Now, a feat for a shield proficiency, if you can always use the shield, is kind of like a feat for +2 AC, and that's not the worst thing I've ever heard of in the entire world. At the same time, you're competing with every other feat in the game, so that's never going to be particularly exciting, especially because this doesn't give you a new thing to do. So if you're a class like Rogue that is in desperate need for new things to do, you are often going to want to lean into one of the magic spell feats. You're going to want to lean into some new ways to like improve your combativeness with your like cool special shots and stuff like that. We got a lot of feats recently that were like your attack is a little bonus, like the giant stuff, where it's like, oh, I got a cloud strike that I can turn invisible. And then you can take the upgraded one if you want to and do some teleporty stuff or whatever. I think I rate that a lot higher than a shield.
I think the only reason you would want to take this with Rogue or something is like an academic exercise. I want to build the highest armor class rogue possible, but maybe not something you want to play.
Yeah, sure. It's like the kind of thing where it's like, I'm going to limit myself just to rogue and I want as high an AC as possible, and sticking a shield onto a rogue seems reasonable. Let me make sure like sneak attack doesn't turn off or anything, right? Nope, you're good. As long you can use a shield and sneak attack at the same time, so you just go like short sword plus or rapier plus shield, and you like a fightery rogue that's like blocking with shield and stabbing things, and then you got an AC of like 19 or 20, something like that. That seems bland, to be honest with you, but sure, I guess that could work. Bard's got a couple of subclasses that like doing martial stuff. They're colleges, so you got swords and
Valor.
What's the other one? Valor, yeah,
Valor,
those two.
yeah.
Those two conceivably could consider this. I don't remember either of them get shield proficiencies, but that's like if either of them do, all of a sudden this doesn't matter on that one. So let's see. Valor gets I know martial weapon. Swords doesn't get either, I think. Let's check. Talk to the sacred text in Memento. You get simple martial weapon proficiencies if you take swords, but you don't get shields. So if you want to be doing like a tank bard thing, or you just want a higher AC on your melee bard, yeah, okay. And then Valor is armor, shields, and martial weapons. So you don't need it on Valor at all. You only would take this on College of Swords bards if you wanted to be like a melee range, get a shield thing. Maybe you're like one of the others, maybe like a melee spirits bard could exist where you're trying to use your spirit tables on you for the martial stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty low on that still. But like, yeah, I guess that's allowed. Is it good? If you're getting an even to an odd score, or an odd to even score, so you're getting like a 17 dex to an 18 dex, maybe? It's still not your main stats. I'm not that excited about it.
I noticed in your written review, which linked down in the description there, you talked at length about which classes want this for shields or whatnot, but you barely mentioned actual medium armor at all.
Yeah.
There's I mean, all right, I get it for rogues and bards, or whoever wants high dex. Does anyone else want this for the armor?
No. So no. Again, there are 3 classes in the game that would consider this, and it is Bard, Rogue, and Warlock, right? Everyone else either doesn't have light armor proficiency, so they're not using this outright, or has medium armor proficiency plus, so they don't need this.
Right.
And that leaves us to the conversation of how much better can your AC get with medium armor versus light armor with a +2 dex, right? So studded leather is the light armor that gives you 12 plus dex mod minimum, so it pairs immediately against hide armor. If you have a +2 dex, everything from chain shirt up will give you 1 or 2 AC higher if your dexterity is capped at 2. So if you're a bard and you're like, I only ever want a 14 dex, this technically would be an improvement for your armor class if you took the medium armor and actually used it. Fine, if you're doing like a swords thing or a valor thing, normally you're both increasing your dexterity because you want to be able to hit better and harder, and you're prioritizing that even over charisma a lot of the time, because you can take spells that don't require save DCs. You can take spells that don't use your charisma modifier. You can't make weapon attack rolls that don't require your dexterity modifier. And the moment you have a +3 dex, all of a sudden you are competing with chain shirts. The moment you have a +4 dex, you're now competing with everything up to half plate. And the moment you have a +5 dex, you are now paired and matching half plate as far as your AC goes, with just the starting studded leather light armor. So if you ever intend to get your dexterity to a 20, there is no ever reason to consider medium armor over light armor. They are fundamentally the same, except half plate imposes disadvantage on stealth checks, and studded leather does not.
All right, what about a warlock who's not prioritizing dex at all?
They don't exist. Like that's so warlocks are exactly in the same camp as bards. If you're doing the martial thing, almost always you're prioritizing dexterity because it doubles up your AC and your to hit. You just that's what you prioritize. Maybe you're in a world where you're doing like great sword stuff. And in that world, yeah, okay, fine. Medium armor gives you, then you can't use a shield. Never mind. I take it back. Yeah. There's no reason to consider that line of thought. Never mind. So yeah, the reality is you're not going to be using, you're going to want to maximize your dexterity. And the difference is make light armor just as good as medium armor most of the time.
Okay, now, strictly devil's advocate again, going back to wizard sorcerers, for whatever reason, they really wanted medium armor, so they got themselves a lightly armored feat, and this one. What are the rules regarding armor and spellcasting?
Okay, so you have to have an open hand for somatic components,
right?
And you have to be holding a spell focus or the material components in your hand for material components.
Okay.
So that normally, as you can see with my demonstration here, I'll use my mouse. This is my spellcasting focus. This is my somatic components. Yes. That normally is what's occupying my hands. You'll notice there is no room for a shield.
Yes.
That's an issue. Clerics get away with it because their shields often will have their holy insignia on it, and that counts as their spell focus. So they can
But
have
clerics already have medium armor proficiency.
yeah,
Right?
and shield proficiencies. That's
Yeah.
why they can like have a
Right.
shield and an open hand to cast spells and stuff. Is because their shield's got their holy symbol on it, or their holy symbol's around their deck or something, and they can grab it or whatever. So yeah, that's how spellcasting within these things work. Now, there's a feat called Warcaster, and Warcaster lets you, I think, use somatic components while you have a weapon in your hand. I think that's the text.
Yeah, I
it
think
lets
so.
you makes it easier to cast spells while you're holding weapons and shields, basically, right? Yeah, you can perform the somatic components of spells even whenever your weapons are shielded in one or both hands. So you can still do spellcasting that requires somatic components alongside your sword and board stabby things, being a blade singer stuff. Warcaster, that's its job. So, like, if we're in a world where you're playing a sorcerer wizard and you really want a shield and you want to get it through this feat, you'd need either to have Warcaster or to be prioritizing spells that require one of the two somatic or material components, not both. If you can do that, you can cast your spells functionally as long as they don't have both components. But the moment they have both components, you need an open hand.
Okay. Yeah. Even if you wanted that, you're just gonna dip a level into something else.
Yeah. I will say what helps this thing a lot is the +1 dex. I genuinely think if I have a 15 dexterity on a warlock sometime, I might go, could I use a shield? I could use a shield maybe. Like I'm gonna do the fiendish vigor thing with a I got a 15 or a 17 dex and I want to get bumped to an 18, and I go, a shield and +1 dex. That's a numeric improvement. And if I don't want to do any more work on my character and I just want to like write down some extra numbers and be done with it, that will do the job. That keeps us out of 1 territory for me. It's never a feat I plan on taking.
No.
But I could see there being people that would just want to go, this makes my character better. Done.
Oh, yeah, but better than other options would have made it better. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's a
still,
lot worse than a lot of other options that exist out there.
it's not nothing. Yeah, definitely. Well, I hate
It
to say
sure
definitely
is
out of,
narrow.
yeah.
There's like 4 characters in existence that want this, but hey, it's a 2 on those character sheets.
Yeah, this one, my 2 feels generous, but I'll give it the 2. But maybe other people have different opinions. Viewers, I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. What do you think about moderately armored? Is this something you take? Why do you take it? Why do you love it? Let us know.
Is there a real window where medium armor is that much better than light armor?
Yeah.
I don't think there is, but maybe there is. Maybe I've missed something. Let me know.
All right. Well, that was Moderately Armored. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.